gather around, folks. Let me tell you a tale about politicians and their promises that always seem to fail.
How dare you?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Top of the time zone. I'm Alan C. You're with Johnnie J in the house, here on the Innervision FM universe. You're not going to want to miss today's podcast. Brought to you by Colorado Art Relief Fund, Eeny Meeny Grants, Bonefields Foundation, Chinook Foundation, Christian Brothers Moving Company, based in the great state of Texas, Englewood, Colorado, and Phoenix, Arizona. Also, Richard Damiano of the Littleton Eye Clinic. Stay with us.
Oh my God.
That's who we love, and that's who we serve.
Is it running now? Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Well, today's Monday, day after Thanksgiving, weekend after the first Monday after Thanksgiving weekend. Welcome to the Innervision FM universe. And I'm twiddling with my mic, so it might go away. We got Johnnie J in the house. We got Hey Joe in the house all the way from the Philippines. Okay. He's our resident time traveler.
Yes. And my computer may shut down.
Oh, good.
So, because it's acting funny. So if I disappear, I'll pop back in on my Zoom on my phone.
We are joined by a distinguished guest. We'll call that person Zoom user.
Yes.
And I muted the mic on the phone, so guest wanted to join us as a friend of mine. We go way back. Today we're going to talk about the Blade dude from Europe. Well, actually, I guess he's originally from Africa. He's a disabled guy, so I guess we'd call him the disabled Blade dude.
Yes. The fastest disabled person, well, at least in Europe.
We're going to talk about Dolly Parton. She apparently released a new album, and she did it just in time for the Thanksgiving holiday. I didn't know this. You were telling me earlier that she did the halftime show, or what was it?
Yeah, she did the Dallas halftime show. And, and I saw the album drop because it was so far long ago when I bought the album, because it helps the algorithms and stuff like that. And, she's a big star. I like her music. So I listened to the 2 songs that she had out, and then I bought it, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So when he said, "Oh, your rock star Dolly Parton is now in your music library," I said, "Oh, okay, I'll get around to that," And then after the fact, I was listening to some guys on this talk show talking about their wives weren't even girlfriends, wasn't interested in the halftime show until Dolly Parton came on. And I said, "Dolly Parton?" So I said, "Oh, okay, let me go find it," because now it's so fast. Back in the day, you remember back in the day when if something happened and you missed it, you couldn't go back to it?
That's right.
So I said, let me see it. And I kept seeing these 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, until I came across a 7 minute. Right? And I said, that must be the full like showcase. Hopefully it was. I don't think they cut anything out. I don't know, half hour. The halftime only stays on for like 7 minutes, but it could have been edited.
Interesting.
So, and I didn't, and I think I don't think I sent that to you, Hey Joe. I don't think I sent that to you because these ladies were saying like how young she looked
That's what I understand. She is aged really well, or maybe she's taken a lot of Botox. I don't know.
Now I do know that in the spring she detox every spring.
Oh wow, fascinating.
Or maybe every fall and spring, because I guess that's the schedule you're supposed to keep. But I do know I hear interviews like, yeah, she's like, yeah, I'm going to detox and all that headache, and I'm thinking like, if you're getting a headache still after all these years, you must be doing a lot of stuff in between. Oh man.
We're also going to bring up a comedian that started really young. His name was, help me out here.
Yeah, Byron Allen.
Hey, I should know that. His last name is my first name.
Well, yeah. That's what made it so easy to remember. And,
right.
And I listened to the interview again. He did one interview on his network, and I forgot the name of the network. But anyway, he did an hour and 20 minutes on his network where this lady just sat down, who works for him, sat down and interviewed him. And he just chronologically cataloged everything he did. And then I saw this news program that was 9 minutes, which that's what I sent to you, because 9 minutes is a lot. You can sit down and digest that than the hour and 20 minutes.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. We only have so many hours in a day. So where do you want to start today, Johnny?
Let's start with the Blade guy. Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the disabled Blade dude from
South Africa. Now I saw this I think it was around 2013. And I was in Europe at the time. I don't know if I was in Egypt or what, but it was like big news over there maybe I was in Moscow, but it was big news over there that this guy, he was on trial for shooting his girlfriend through the bathroom door, and he said it was an accident. He said that he thought that someone had broke into his house, but he had great security. So that's
ladies and gentlemen, don't try that at home.
Yeah, and then people started speculating, well, he doesn't have his legs, and he probably felt like he was afraid and all that kind of stuff, and he couldn't defend himself. So therefore, that's what made him go for his gun, or his nine, right? And he's telling and this is kind of heavy. I guess he's kind of like a small guy, so he's sitting, if you can call it sitting, next to the judge, telling this judge the story. And it's not a trial. It's not a trial with the jury. It's just him and the judge. Okay. And it's up to her to make the decision, if she believes him or not. And he's crying and all this kind of stuff. And he says, Your Honor. I see, is it called Your Honor? I think they call him something a little bit different, like not Your Highness, but something a little bit more like,
Your Excellency.
Yes.
Something
Your
like
Excellency.
That.
Yes, something like that. Yeah. And so he's telling the story about, he hears something in the bathroom, and he didn't check to see if his girlfriend was there. And he just assumed, she was missing from the bedside. And he assumed that somebody was in the house. So
ladies and gentlemen, every time I burgle a house, I got to use the restroom. So that's the first place I get. I got to steal the toilet paper.
Yeah, so he points his 9 at the bathroom, and he just boom, 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 boom. And of course, she's probably saying at this, you know what? This was in a movie. Have you ever seen what's that movie? It was a Netflix series called Mozart.
Yeah.
And it was the first part of the movie was the gangsters came in, and they had realized that the firm that they was working with had stole some money from him, and the secretary says, "Can I go into the bathroom?" And the gangsters shot through the door.
Wow, that's
where I saw that. It was in Mozart. Yeah. But this
sure it wasn't called the Ozarks?
Ozark. I'm sorry, Mozart, Ozark. Yeah, it was Ozark. And but this show came on afterwards, and I wonder if they took that part of his story and put it in the movie.
Entertainment does often imitate real life. So what happened to Mr. Blade
okay.
guy?
So I guess the judge said she didn't go for it. So she sentenced him to, I think it was 13 years in prison. And I think he only did about 5 or 7 years. Yeah, I think he was, 5 or 7. But I mean, his career is shot.
His career is shot.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
That's pretty good.
Oh, man.
That's pretty good.
Oh, are you there? Hey, Joe. What is your feedback about this guy's defense?
I wonder if his audio is not connected.
I hope I didn't. I hope it. Well, let's see. Do a shot if it's asking to ask permission from the host for you to unmute your microphone, and if that is, I think I know what to do to fix it. So send something through the chat, hey Joe, and then I can see it, or I can hear it. But
I got to tell you what my feedback is, Johnny. Is the idea for me is I'd want to get away as quickly as possible. Now, of course, I got no legs, so how would I do that?
Where would you hide? Because his millions of dollars is hooked up in that house, in that bank account, and I think he just wanted to take his chances. And also I'm thinking like she must have said something. I mean, you guys, if your girlfriend is just ranking on you and stuff like that, or whatever, you don't have to kill her. Just get away from her. Oh, is everybody there?
Still here.
Oh, okay. Let me make sure I didn't lose my place here. Oh, so yeah, I really disagree with this. Like, I hear about these insurance plans where the guy takes his wife up to a hike in the mountains, and then all of a sudden she accidentally slips off the cliff, and then they find out that she didn't slip, she had a little help. So guys,
it happens all the time.
I mean, come on, you guys, women too.
Be good to each other.
Yeah, if you're that bad you can't stand each other, just get away from that person.
That's right.
Gee.
That's right.
Now, huh?
Put a blanket on her.
Put a blanket on her.
Oh, yeah.
Muffle the sound. Duct tape. Magic word is duct tape.
Duct tape. That's a handyman's secret weapon.
Oh man, but yeah, he didn't get away with it, and I'm sure he still has some. Well, I'm sure he has money left over from his stuff and
career.
Yeah, and maybe they're gonna, eventually they're gonna have him, do speaking tours, but that's gonna always come up.
Now, you were telling me he tried to run away, but how did he do that?
No, he didn't. He did not.
He did not try to run away.
No, I mean he could have. He was the fastest guy in South Africa. I mean but then, I don't know. A police car could probably catch up with them eventually.
Right. Even if you run on your hands, it's still really hard.
Yes. And like I said, the reporters was kind of be really compassionate, said, well, he probably was really afraid because he doesn't have legs. And, I'm thinking like, I don't know. I can't see being afraid. I mean, I can say I'm afraid because I don't have any eyes, right?
Right.
But I don't know. It's just, it just didn't go. It didn't flow, It just didn't flow. So, yeah. So now let's see. Should we let's get to Byron Allen, then we'll say Dolly for the last part.
All right.
Okay. So I've been sort of like consuming Byron Allen because like about 2017, 2018, I started seeing him pop up on these black podcast shows. The Breakfast Club, this other guy, I can't remember his name, but he really irritates me. And then I think he even went on Dr. Boy's show, I think. Don't hold me to that. But he was complaining about he couldn't get his channel on the Comcast or Direct TV or channels. And he pulled out this old document from 1860,
something like that.
1864. Yeah, 1864, 1865, I think it was. That talked about basically equitably and being equitable and giving these free slaves a chance to compete on an equal level, right? And so he sued Comcast for billions of dollars, right? And then they settled out of court. But one thing I didn't agree with them, he said Donald Trump's DOJ, and that DOJ has never been Donald Trump's. It's like maybe Hillary Clinton DOJ, maybe Obama DOJ, but because of the liberal nature of the DOJ, and when Chuck Schumer said you mess with them and they can find 7 ways to something, 7 ways to
7 ways from Sunday.
7 ways to Sunday.
Yeah,
7 ways from Sunday.
So I was sort of like keeping up with that, and that's when I got into the history of the guy and found out that he was 10 years old. I guess it was this big riot in Detroit when Martin Luther King was killed, and they had to leave Detroit because it was just getting too dangerous. And the dad said, I'll send for you when things sort of calm down. And so they went. So his mother had him when she was 17, and so and that was in 1961. So I would think he's about 7 years old at this time. And so they went to Detroit, and for some reason the parents got divorced or whatever, and they stayed in California. Well, I like the ambition of this kid because he saw that his mother was struggling. She's going to school to get her bachelor's degree and then master's degree in filmmaking. And at the age of 10, he went to the grocery store and asked this guy if he could get a job there. He said, "Well, you're not old enough. You have to be 16." So he says, "Well, I can do that job better than the guy that's doing it now because look, he put the eggs at the bottom and he put everything on top of the eggs, right?" So I'm kind of figuring out what knucklehead 16-year-old doesn't know that you're going to swish all the eggs and then you're going to have a mad customer come back in and say, "Look what this guy did to my eggs." So what he did, he started hustling outside the store, and he would bring back the carts. He would help the people, elderly people or whatever, help them unload their car, and then he would bring it back, and then they would give him a tip.
Wow.
So then eventually he was able to start buying groceries for his family because he was making so much money at the grocery store. And then his mother said he had a worm farm. It was probably something in the magazine said, "Become rich, own a worm farm, and sell it to fishermen."
Absolutely.
And so he had totally forgot about that one. And so then, because she finished her school and she went to get a job at NBC, and she says, "Well, I just finished school. Do you have any jobs?" And he said, "No, we don't have any jobs for you." And then she says, "Do you have an internship?" And he says, "No, we don't have any internships." Then she says, "Well, can you create one and I'll be your first intern and I'll work for free?" So then she started working there, and then they were so impressed with her that they hired her to give the tours on NBC's lot.
Interesting.
Yeah. So then, since they had no child care back in those days, I don't think there was any child care back in the 70s or whatever. So he would watch all the shows like Freddie Prinze, what was it called? Prince and the Man, or something, and then Red Fox Show and Flip Wilson and Johnny Carson, and he was just looking at these guys like do what they did, and Bob Hope do what they did to make people laugh, and he said, "I want to do that." And so he and he would every time Johnny Carson would pull up to his parking space, because everybody had the names in their parking space. All right. And he would say, "Hey, Johnny, I like that joke." And he would tell Johnny the joke that he heard the night before. And he said, and Johnny would say, "Hey, that's one of my favorite ones too." So he was developing relationships, which in the music business, same thing. You got to develop relationships step by step to get to people that would know something more than you, so you can get in the inner circle. So eventually he was, they offered him a slot on the Johnny Carson show, but he said, I hadn't finished high school. And he says he wanted to be free to take any offers. And he wanted to go to college. So he turned them down the first time when they offered him the slot on the Johnny Carson, because he said he wanted to finish high school and he wanted to be open if they got any offers.
Oh, wow.
And then he said something about he met this one comedian that was going to do the show there, and he asked the comedian, like, well, hey, how can I become like like you and get where you're at? And he says, just keep doing what you're doing, kid. And it turned out to be the guy who starred in Welcome Back, Carter.
Wow.
Yeah. So he just met all these people. Gabe Kaplan, right? Yes, yeah. And so eventually Byron Allen was the youngest comedian to ever appear. He was like 17 and a half. He had finished high school and stuff like that. And then he said, as he predicted, he started getting offers. So he did those things, to put himself through college, doing comedian kids. And there was one, he went to this showcase for comedians. And on Monday nights they had amateur night, but he was only, I think he was only like 14 at the time, and the lady said, I can't let you in the club because I can only let you in there for a few minutes, and then you have to get right out.
Wow!
So he had to stand outside, wait in the parking lot, and then when it was his time up, then she would call him in. He would do his set, and then he would leave. Right. And then this guy came up to him and said, hey, you're pretty funny. Who wrote those jokes? And he says, I did. And then he went to this other guy, and this other guy calls him up and says, I hear you're pretty funny. And he says, well, I'd like you to come and write for me. And then Byron says, let me ask my mom. And say, hey, guys, he has to ask his mom. And in the background, one of the guys says, just tell his mom that we have some milk and cookies for him here too, right?
And
it ended up being David Letterman.
Yeah.
And I forgot the name of the other guy, but he wrote Shirley and Laverne and Shirley show. He ended up writing for Laverne and Shirley, created that show.
Wow.
So he was paid $25 to write a joke, and those guys they're getting paid $200 a week. So that means that they're just paying two guys $200 a week. That's $400 plus $25. Jimmy Walker must have been making some good money in these clubs.
That's right.
So listen to all this stuff. Okay, let's spin forward. I gave you a history, and you guys can find this stuff. It's all in the internet. I just gave you like this. So he does this thing. It was a Black Excellence Award thing on CBS, and I was all into it. Hey, it was a lot of like comedians that I knew. Now they slip my mind, but the guy who did the guy who's now doing the Family Feud, I forgot his name, and then this other Kevin Hart, he was there. Mariah Carey, she was there. Eddie Murphy, wow. They saved him for the end.
Wow!
And my wife was telling me there's fancy tables with shiny,
all kinds of cutlery.
Steve Harvey is who you're talking about,
huh?
Oh, Steve Harvey of the Family Feud.
Yes, Steve Harvey, and then they brought this guy, this black guy on, and he's supposedly a scientist. And he's talking about, and we have to keep up with the climate change because this and that.
Degrassi.
Huh?
Degrassi.
Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson, or what I think his name is.
Yeah. And that's when I started going off. My wife said, "What's going on? What's wrong?" I said, "That guy is pitching this lie again, this propaganda." And I bet Byron had to negotiate with CBS, and they said, "Well, unless we have this propaganda on your show, you can't come on CBS." Now, I don't know this to be true, but Greta said in June of 2023 the earth was going to end. But then when it didn't end, she had to scrub that off of her tweet. I mean, come on, it's almost reminds me of the Y2K back in 2000.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And they moved it up to 2021 or 2001.
2012.
No,
Yeah, they moved it
no,
to 2012.
They said 2000, year 2000.
Right.
Everything would be okay until 2001 now.
Oh, yeah, 2001. And then they moved it to 2012. And they're like, look, we got Mayan calendar. It's all lining up. Yeah. We did that one. And now we're still here at 2023. Man, we're almost done with the year. I can't believe it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I was just steaming. I'm saying, why did he have this propaganda guy? And then also remember, they used what is her name?
Margaret
Zinger. And she went to the black pastors and convinced them that killing babies were the thing to do.
Oh, Margaret Sanger.
Sanger, yes.
Sanger.
And so it seemed like they find somebody. I don't know how much they paid these people, or what did they do to say okay, or they threaten them like you're not going to be a part of the in crowd. And of course, once you go to all these fancy parties, maybe it's like a drug, and you can't live without going to these fancy they call them bourgeois. Yeah, I like bourgeois party. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Could I sell my soul to be on the inside? And yeah, I know. Okay, you got these fancy cars, you got all this stuff, and you get to go to these all the A-listed parties. But it's almost like, but you got to lie, and you have to somehow justify that so you can sleep at night. That we had to get rid of all fossil fuel, and I'm thinking like, didn't dinosaurs get extinct? And there was no coal mines back then. There were no fossil fuel. Well, at least, I mean, there was, but
fossil fuels is not a real thing anyway.
No. In fact, you can make
it's a natural mineral in the ground.
Yeah, right. This is just minerals that we figured out how to get it out and use it for something. Right. And I'm thinking like, oh man, it's like, and it's just the circle just keep on. And then of course I ran against this guy, Alex Valdez, who he made it a law. He has a solar company, and he made it a law that people, any new buildings that are built in Colorado have to have solar panels.
Yeah, they have to have some sort of green energy initiative built right in. Yeah. Some of these buildings use geothermal heating to get in, things like this. But it has made a lot of money. I will say that.
Yeah, and it's and now if it's a good idea, you shouldn't have to force someone to do it.
That's right.
But Democrats and liberals, they seem to do that kind of stuff. So I just went off on this guy. So I'm looking around and say, how can I get his contact? And who knows, he may pop up on our show. And of course, I won't ask him that question, the first one. I'll warm him up. So ladies, stay tuned, because if I get a hold of Byron Allen, he'll be on the show and we'll talk about it. And it won't be a softball. I mean, I enjoyed that interview that he did with his this interview that's on has her own show on his network. I enjoyed that interview. But now I want to talk two things I want to bring up. Him saying Trump, DOJ, and having this guy on the show, and was there some negotiation, or does he really believe it? And maybe he has to say he really believes it. And I can't, but I always think like, maybe even at the level that he's at, maybe there's always someone there to say, hey, we can make all this go away.
Wow.
Remember that song of mine, Big Lie?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly what that's about.
Oh man. So
You can check out Hey Joe's stuff on SoundCloud. I guess is on Spotify,
iTunes,
iTunes.
yeah.
So
Now,
the Big Lie is up there.
yes. Yeah, so you could check it out. I mean, I guess I saw like little snippets on the internet, and you can see it for yourself. Now let's get to Dolly Parton, because that would just really irk me. So now Dolly Parton. So
Dolly Parton and Elvis were really tight. As a matter of fact, Dolly Parton wrote a song, if I remember correctly, that Elvis used that pretty much made him famous. I mean, well, he was already famous, but he really got famous.
he has a song on an album called "I Dreamed About Elvis." I had a dream about Elvis last night.
Oh,
Which
wow.
I never heard it before,
Huh.
but it was by somebody else. But I mean, 30 songs. Yeah, 30 songs.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, and I listened to all of it. I was up there
Wow.
like,
You're a better man than I am.
It's like, and it has Steve Perry on it. It had Nancy Wilson.
Wow.
It had Kid Rock.
Wow.
Elton John, and Elton John's voice sounds a lot deeper. I mean, I don't know. He had that polyp operation, and I think it changed his voice a little bit. And you could tell even more that it's just a lot deeper than what it was when he first sang that song. It was and then I see who else. Melissa Estrus was on there.
Wow.
Bonnie Raitt.
Steven Tyler.
Steven Tyler, yeah, he was on there. Sting,
yeah,
get to do it with her, and let's see, and then they topped it off with Leonard Skinner and Freebird, and I really like that version. I really like the way they did that version of Freebird. 10 minutes long.
It's a long song anyway. So
yeah.
Check out the album Rockstar by Dolly Parton. It's really cool.
Oh, and one last one, Stairway to Heaven. I love that song.
Oh, yeah, you told me about that.
But I didn't realize it was Lizzo was playing the flute in there. And so between cooking up like very fried foods and grabbing her allegedly grabbing her dancers, she had time to play flute on the album, and she's an excellent flute player.
Wow.
But so because I remember that is a part of the original Stairway to Heaven, the flute, right?
A little piece of Innervision FM universe trivia. One of our recording artists by the name of Sweet G, I believe she plays the flute as well.
Oh, yeah. And there's a show out there, Innervision FM show, where she plays Rockin' Robin at one of our events in
2012, something like that.
Yeah, I think 2012. Yes. So you can find that. Look up Sweet G Innervision FM, and you can see that. It was very well edited by this gentleman. I forgot his name. I didn't even think I didn't even know you were gonna bring that up. I would have got to look up his name, but
I had to bring it up.
Yeah, she should have been on the album. Forget Lizzo.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Who is Lizzo?
Yeah.
Who is Lizzo? Who is Lizzo?
I've never heard it before.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
She does.
She's overweight, very much, and she gets a lot of overweight women to be her backup dancers, because she wants to make it equitable. And she is a singer, and she's been doing some kind of lewd things.
She's
lewd, yes. Yeah, lewd things on the internet, just to
allegedly.
Cause controversy. I mean, she has a TikTok thing where she allegedly showed young people, because her audience is these young, impressionable kids, how to give oral using a banana, right?
Oh boy.
And I'm thinking okay. And Dr.
my.
Boyce, I heard this from Dr. Boyce. I didn't go looking for it.
You didn't go before.
Oh man. So he wondered, like, what is going on? Why is the record company getting her to do this? Because, you know, she's an excellent flute player,
Yeah, right.
excellent singer, but why does she have to do all these other silly things? And very controversial things. But no, it is what it is. So anyway, so yeah. Lizzo
Wait
wouldn't
till
be in
she
your,
stands before the king.
huh?
Wait for her to stand before the king.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go. Yeah, that's
yeah.
true. You know,
Huh.
we're all going to stand before the king one day. And it is good, especially in this day and age, to make sure that you're right with him. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 is the best way to find a blueprint about how to get in there and, you know, take advantage of that free eternal gift of life. You know, more I could expand on that all day, but you know, salvation's easy and it's quick and it's free, and you know, but it is a rocket ride. It's not some smooth sailing, you know.
Yeah.
You're gonna be
be tested.
Yeah, you're gonna be
You're gonna be
tested.
tested hard.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's
I
right.
know.
So Dolly Parton also was with were the surviving members of Queen on there? Did she do
no, she did We Will Rock You, but I don't think she she did a great version of Pat Benatar's You're a Heartbreaker, and the husband.
Oh wow.
And
That's
even
awesome.
even Pat Benatar's voice is a little bit deeper now.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, and it was a killer version, man.
Wow.
Man, so like 30 songs is well worth it. I don't know if anybody else can do it in one sitting like I did.
I don't think I could do it in 100 sittings.
Well,
I did, however, go to Dolly World. I think the amusement park
You know
is
what?
called.
Is that in Florida or is it in
I think it's Tennessee.
Tennessee?
Probably Tennessee, Nashville,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to check that out because I heard a lot about that. And they had an interview with the security guard. I'm not sure where I saw this. It was some interview that they had with the security guy. Oh no, I think it was one of her cousins or nephews who works the security on the property. And it was like a real cool like interview of like behind the scenes of how it got started, how they built it, and all that kind of stuff, and how they
it's
started.
fascinating.
Yeah. So if that interview is out there as well, so you might want to look that up. But she did, let's see, 3 songs. I think it was 3 songs. She did Jolene, then she did 9 to 5. And I think there was maybe another song, but I don't remember. And then she did We Will Rock You.
Mm.
And like I said, she and you know, and Cher, huh? Yeah, remember on the Thanksgiving parade, Cher was there, and I know that Cher voice is a little bit more deeper too. And now Cher did what the James Brown did. She has all these dancers dancing around her. I don't know if Cher was much of a dancer, like when she did shows, but it was just interesting that you know, she did the James Brown where she had all these dancers around her and stuff like that, right?
That's one person I could never stand.
Yeah.
Sure.
She keeps promising to leave the country, and I say, when?
When? Yeah, exactly.
Let me help you.
Yeah. I'll help you pack.
Oh man, yeah. So
I got to make a correction. I guess that amusement park is actually called Dollywood. For those that want to look that up, not Dolly World.
Well, let's see. Natalia keeps saying that she wants to see America, so that might be a place we might save up to go. Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way they described it. I mean, so we may there's 2 things. She wants to go down to the Macy's parade thing, and I said, okay. I said, if we get this one grant, wish I would be able to put you on the payroll, Alan. I'm
Yay!
crossing my fingers. So at least for a
Yay.
year, unless they give it to us like twice, then 2 years.
That's the one with the puppet shows?
No, this is another one. This is one I went to, and they said they were begging people, said they need some people to apply for this grant, and none of us has it because it was an all black kind of get funds, and said nobody black is applied. And I'm sure after that meeting, somebody black besides me applied. But I said, what? Nobody, and they have all these thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to give away, and it's like they say and the deadline was coming up, and so I got it in there. So we should, and so we shall see, cross fingers and stuff like that. Man. Oh, anyway. Oh, by the way, before we close the show, this Thursday, and the time has been changed from 6 to 9 over at the Brew Ability. And this is a place that they actively seek disabled people to hire to train them in customer service and working in a brewery, restaurant type of atmosphere.
Boy, I can't get to Denver fast enough.
Yes. And so I had heard about them a long time ago, and they contacted me about maybe a year ago and said, I can't believe I never heard of your organization. And I said, I could say the same about you guys too. So we booked them there to do 3 hours.
So Tony's going to be there? Is that?
Yes. So
that's awesome.
So
hey, check out Tony Negus.
Yeah, free to the public. And she's going to feed the crew for free. So I'm not sure what they have. I haven't looked at the what's that thing called? The food list. What is that called? The menu yet?
Menu?
Yeah. Yes.
How old are you?
Huh?
How old are you?
Here's what happens when you get old. Hey,
I got to start taking. I got to start taking that Brevison. They say it improves the memory. Oh man, yeah. So anyway, so we'll be there. We'll load in at about 5 o'clock, and I'm looking up all these Christmas karaoke so we can, because we have to have a track and all that kind of stuff.
We're gonna have some fun. This is gonna be a fun 2023 end of the year bash, and once 2024 hits, we're gonna have us lots of fun. 16th Street Mall in June.
Yeah, June the 1st.
Might have some spring things going on as well.
Yeah,
I'll see what I can help out with and stuff. I'll be in town, so Johnny and I'll be real close to each other. I got some good news, you guys.
Yes.
I was going to go to that Open Doors Fellowship place, and I'll probably still be doing some ministry work with them, but a place came open, so I get to keep my dog, and I still get to do the ministry work. And boy, it's awesome, man. I mean, God's really good. He does wait until the last minute, though.
Oh man!
So shout out to my.
Don't
push him. Don't push him.
Yeah.
So God's good, man. I just wanted to throw that out there, and man, I just want to thank everybody who's been praying and that kind of thing, because the prayer of a righteous man or woman, it availeth much.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. So keep those prayers coming in. Subscribe.
Yep. Like, share, subscribe. www.innervisionfm.com, www.innervisionrecords.org. And if you have a topic that you want to discuss, or if you're a aspiring recording artist or musician, we promote grassroots musicians, whether they're disabled physically, any sort of disability, or financial disability, which pretty much hits everybody these days.
And with Tony's first album to be released, we're going to do something called Water Drop. And I just learned about this, and we might talk about it in some of our upcoming shows because it's a real interesting way of moving the algorithms of Spotify and these other platforms.
That's right.
To get you like in a playlist or get you into heavy rotation. So so the big boys do it, and now us little boys we found out about it. So
Well, we want to put all the cookies on the lower shelf, make sure everybody can reach them. Info at innervisionfm.com is how you get on our newsletter and how you can email us with your topics.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we're gonna say
How dare you?
bye to Greta.
Bye, Greta.
The big liar. Oh, man.
Talk about the big liar.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna dedicate the song "Big Lie" to her.
No doubt.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow with some more topics.
God bless.
Have a good night.
All right.